Salvete omnes. Today, as you can see from our title, we're going to be taking a look at the dative case, which is the last case that you have to learn in Latin. But before we do, we're going to do a quick review of what we know, or a little bit of what we know about Latin grammar. The first thing we know is that Latin and English are different. They may have overlapping vocabulary, but grammatically, structurally, they're very different languages. For example, in English, the word's position in a sentence determines its job. So, Maria eats the cake means something different than the cake eats Maria. Now, all we've done in those two sentences is switch the word order, but in English, when we switch the word order, we change the meaning. However, Maria placentam consumit, which is the same sentence in Latin, means the same thing as placentam Maria consumit, because in Latin, the word order doesn't matter. A Latin word's job is not determined by its position, but by its ending. And you may have noticed that the endings were highlighted in different colors in those sample sentences, and there's a reason for that. Maria, ending in an A, placentam, ending in an AM, consumit, means Maria eats the cake. The A makes Maria the subject, the AM makes placentam the direct object, and we have a sentence that we could illustrate a little bit like this. There's Maria enjoying her cake. But if we switch the endings, so we have Mariam and placenta consumit, then we have a sentence that means the cake eats Maria. Now we have changed the meaning of a sentence because we've changed the endings, and we get a mental picture that looks like this: the cake chasing down Maria, so you can eat it. You may be wondering, that's the gist of how Latin grammar works, and we know how to do subjects, and we know how to do direct objects. You even know how to do objects of prepositions, and you know how to make Latin nouns possessive, and so you're probably wondering what job is left, and as you can tell from the heading in this case, that is the indirect object for which we use the dative case. What's an indirect object, you ask? I'm so glad. Let me tell you. Take a look at this sentence, which we've changed just a little bit. Maria baked a cake for Tina. All right, Maria's our subject. Baked is our verb. Baked what? A cake. That's our direct object. Baked a cake for whom? For Tina. Now, one way in English that we can express that is through a prepositional phrase. But look what happens when we rearrange the words a little bit. Maria baked Tina a cake. Maria baked what? A cake. That's the direct object. For whom? Tina. And that is our indirect object. In Latin, the dative case is used to express the indirect object. It goes with a direct object and answers the question to or for whom. Now, that means you have some new endings. Here are our dative case endings that you need to get familiar with, but you will notice masculine and neuter second declension are both OIS. And all of third declension is IBUS, so you really only have 3 pairs of endings to learn instead of 5. And we're going to take a look at some of those in a sentence right now. Here's our example sentence. Puer puellae rosas dedit. Say that with me, please. Puer puellae rosas dedit. Good. Now we know that subjects in Latin sentences tend to be at the beginning. They have to have a nominative ending. And when we look at puer, it is definitely nominative, so we can make it the subject. And we know puer means, that's right, boy. So the boy is going to do something in our sentence. We know that Latin verbs are usually at the end of the sentence to mark the end of the sentence. So we look at our last word, that's dedit. It is in fact a verb. And dedit means, good, gave. The boy gave. The boy gave what? Well, we have puellae, and we have rosas, and we have to look at the endings. And when we do, we recognize that AS is an accusative ending, so if we're looking for a direct object, that's where we're going to go. The boy gave rosas, or roses, to or for whom? Well, puella is the only word we have left. It is, in fact, a dative ending, and puella means girl. So the boy gave roses. The boy gave the girl roses. There's our indirect object, the girl, to or for whom. In English, we can also say the boy gave roses to the girl and mean the same thing. And in that case, in Latin, it would still use the dative. But dative case endings are used for indirect objects that come after direct objects and answer the question to or for whom or what. That's a quick overview of the dative. Take what you've learned and translate those sentences on your paper, and we'll talk about them together in just a minute.